Brushing our teeth and toothpaste is literally killing us. The ingredient that's in toothpaste and even in our water is fluoride. This ingredient is so detrimental to our health, and I will be unpacking exactly what fluoride is. Does it affect our health negatively? Does it calcify the pineal gland? And watch till the end, because I'll be showing you how to reverse the damaging effect of this insane chemical. Fluoride is a natural occurring mineral that some areas add to the water supply to decrease the likelihood of tooth decay, supposedly. But did you know that the fluoride that is actually used in toothpaste and in our water supply is an actual industrial waste? Yes, fluoride is naturally occurring, we can find it in the Earth's crust, but actually the fluoride that is used in toothpaste that you use to brush your teeth every day and in the water that you drink is a byproduct of making aluminium and fertilizer. We know fluorine is a natural mineral that occurs everywhere, in our air, in our gas, even in the water and rocks and soil. But it's an industrial compound that is basically rat poison. It's used for poison, it's used for ceramic and manufacture of iron ore and aluminium. So it's good to look at the history. So we're going to look back into 1945 in when fluoridation came from. So the reason why we use fluoride in our toothpaste and water is because in 1945, when community water supplies in Grand Rapids started to fluoridate the water to prevent teeth cavities in the United States as a preventative measure. Even today, this is a controversial public health measure. At the time, they had so much of this byproduct, this industrial waste, that cost a lot of money to get rid of, and there were some health concerns around it because fluoride in high quantities can cause cancer, can cause really bad health conditions. And it was at this time that they started to do studies on fluoride and the effect of it on teeth enamel in terms of making your teeth enamel stronger and preventing teeth decay, which was very prevalent at that time. In the study, there was claims that dental cavities were reduced by 60% among 30,000 school children. Although today the study is hugely criticized because there was cherry picking of data, major methodological flaws, and a bias to how to select the data. Before the final results of these studies, the US Public Health Service started to fluoridate the water in 1950, where the water supply was supplemented with fluoride. Now, what's interesting about this is that only a handful of countries actually fluoridate their water, including Australia, Ireland, Singapore, Brazil, as well as the US. Western nations largely have rejected the practice, and if you look at tooth decay and dental issues versus these fluoridated countries, dental decay in the Western Europe has declined at the same rate as in the United States in the last half century. So it begs the question, is it fluoride that is reducing the cavity, or are we becoming more adept at looking after our teeth and eating more healthily? Fluoride has some benefit in reduction of dental caries, but the significant cost in relation to cognitive impairment, hypothyroidism, skeletal fluorosis, and uterine cancer, these risks are just not worth it. What I wanted to talk to you about is specifically how fluoride affects your pineal gland. Now, your pineal gland is a very small gland that sits behind the pituitary gland. Researchers have found that the pineal gland calcifies and gets calcium spots. The pineal gland isn't the only part of the body that calcifies, also your joints, heart valves, and even your breast tissue. In a 2019 study, rats were given unfluoridated water rats were given a fluoride-free diet for 4 to 8 weeks, and they found that the fluoride-free diet rat experienced greater increase in the pineal gland cells versus the rats that were on fluoridated water. So what is the pineal gland and why should you care about it? It is located in the back of the brain. It's also known as your third eye, your third chakra. This tiny pine cone gland is also known as the all-seeing eye, the seat of consciousness, the gateway to the soul, and is a stargate between the physical and metaphysical. But the pineal gland is responsible for melatonin, which helps to regulate your sleep pattern so you know when it's different seasons, whether it's day, whether it's night. It also is responsible for how you dream at night. What's really important is that the pineal gland releases DMT, otherwise known as the spirit molecule. And one thing that I was really surprised is when we die, we release a ton of DMT. And that is when you see people going to the Amazonian forest, drinking ayahuasca, and having these amazing, enlightening experiences, having these hallucinations and journeys where their ego dies. But this spirit molecule is known to induce higher levels of consciousness, intuition, when you think about someone and they start calling you, or you have a dream and when you wake wake up, something happens in your dream. That is all to do with the pineal gland. When your pineal gland becomes calcified, that means that it becomes less effective at doing what it needs to do and reducing our higher level states of consciousness. Some scientists suggest that the pineal gland calcifying is due to the aging process, but that doesn't make sense because there are younger people who have calcified pineal glands. So that aging process doesn't really match up with that. The calcification of the pineal gland can also induce depression, anxiety, reduce your motivation, and provide you with a sense of not an optimal level of health. The question is, how can you decalcify your pineal gland and how can you fight against fluoride? The argument for fluoride is that it helps to reduce cavity issues, but one, that is something that you haven't opted in for. So that is medication without consent. The government has chosen to do this, and there are other ways to look after your teeth, like xylitol, flossing daily, brushing your teeth every single day, eating more green leafy vegetables. Calcium is good for you, but eating lots of processed foods, carbs are basically enabling the calcification in your body, increasing inflammation in the body. I saw a video on TikTok of these breast implants that were surrounded by calcium deposits, and it's just crazy that that is inside of our bodies. One thing you can do right now is ditch your fluoride toothpaste. You can get a non-fluoride toothpaste. I will link it in the description. But since swapping out my fluoride toothpaste to non-fluoride, I found that my dreams are a lot more vivid, I sleep better, and overall I just feel a lot better about my health. It's crazy that these studies that were done in the 1950s were largely by these companies that were creating these manufacturing companies, these metal manufacturing companies or fertilizer companies. Obviously it's in their vested interest because they are getting rid of an industrial waste but also being paid for it. One of the other things you can do is ditch the shades. Our eyes need indirect sunlight exposure to function properly. It's fascinating that the pineal gland actually has a photoreceptor the same way that our eyes do, so it can pick up on light, hence the third eye designation. Now the photoreceptor is actually activated by light, so don't be afraid of sunlight and allowing sunlight to filter into your eyes. Now with day there comes night, and actually darkness is also really good for your pineal gland. It is also activated by darkness, and that's one of the reasons why that it helps you with your sleep cycle, and that's why you should always wear an eye mask or be in complete darkness when you're sleeping, because that's when your body and your pineal gland will start to produce melatonin, which will help you sleep. Going on your phones, the blue light that it emits from your phones, even having an alarm clock with a bit of a light, will be disruptive for the production of melatonin, which you need to have a restful sleep. Well, part of the decalcification process is you need to have a really alkaline diet. Cut out all the fast food, the processed food, all of the E numbers, and eat more adaptogens and superfoods like alfalfa sprout, oregano oil, sea moss, which has 92 minerals of the 102 minerals that our body needs, blue-green algae, spirulina, coconut oil, walnuts, chlorophyll-rich foods, beets, apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar with the mother, lemon water, MSM, turmeric, ginseng, and bentonite clay. The other thing is to use essential oils. The nose is a gateway to the brain and the pineal gland. To stimulate the passage to spiritual awakeness, consider smelling essential oils to help wake those senses up. Try sandalwood, frankincense, clary sage, and mugwort. The other thing is you should try and avoid the natural water supply, and I know that's really difficult, but investing in a filter. Think about all of the health medical bills that you might be racked against if you don't take your health seriously. So in the long run, that investing in your health is one of the most important things you can do. So get reverse osmosis, which is the perfect way to remove fluoride from drinking water, or invest in spring or mineral water that doesn't have that added supply of fluoride in the water. One thing also is to include more organic food and vegetables in your diet, and organic can be quite expensive, so you can basically focus on the dirty dozen and the clean 10. So the dirty dozen are food groups that are really high in pesticides and hormones, and if you were to buy organic, is to definitely choose these specific fruit and vegetables which will have the higher levels of these things, and you can buy non-organic for the clean 10, which has less pesticides and hormones than those ones. Washing your vegetable in apple cider vinegar and water also helps to remove some of those nasty pesticides and herbicides that they use. Taking a mindfulness practice and meditation mindset in terms of how you want to focus your time and effort, meditation and yoga can really help your mental well-being and overall the health of your overall body. There have been studies to show that meditation can actually induce healing and has an amazing effect on the cells and your overall reduction in inflammation in your body. So I would really recommend looking at Headspace or Calm, those kind of apps to get you started with meditation and mindfulness.